these drafts. I think it's more equal compared to game number 1.
Yeah,
right?
I'm liking how proactive Yangon are this time. They have a lot of setups. It's not like they're going to wait for Spirit to start it every single time.
Claude back in the marksman position for Sanji against now a Clint, and it's going to be Ying on that R-lock, which we saw so effective, and the Selena finally let through, and there's my daughter, Aria, my baby. She made it here. All right, having a lot of fun. Let's hit it over game 2 and get us started here in our grand finals.
So sorry, Rain Day. I don't know if your daughter needs to watch this next game here because it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. It might be above the age limit for this one because we are expecting an absolute brawl. Huge contention for both roaming supports here. Blue is an amazing pick into this lineup, but the big issue is, are you going to be able to build the right items at the right time? There's a lot of magic damage on the side of TS for this early game, and eventually that cleanse is going to be a bigger problem.
Absolutely. It's also about how do you cut through, right? Against this composition, you need to win in the early game, and that's why the Selena pick is going to end up being massive if utilized properly. Can they utilize it, though? That's the question. The Esmeralda almost holds a complete monopoly up top when it comes to tempo.
It is, and that's the thing, right? We're going to see how this game has to progress because there's also counterplay to a lot of the different problems that we're going to experience. If you look at the emblems, at least, looks pretty standard all the way through Season Hunter, at least for the Selena. And now First Blood going to be achieved here as Kais finds the kill. And now, with this lead, this is what we're expecting, right? This is why I was talking about the support so often. Those deaths, they're kind of the only people who can walk up and do what they can do, but Blink is a lot more expendable in comparison to Sawa because they need that Wrath of the Dryad.
That's the tempo we were talking about, though, yeah. For Team Spirit, they're going to have to wait a lot. I think compared to game number 1 especially, you're going to really have to wait for that Wrath of the Dryad, like you mentioned, Gideon. And for YG, it's all about finding level 1 to 3, finding those slam passes. And with the Hirara, the Glue, and even the Arlet here, you're going to have so many resets. That's why Sour wants to take Ying out of the equation. This is how they get back into that turtle fight after Sawo got picked off.
Yep, it looks like they're not going to be able to contest the very first turtle here. It's going to be level 3 to level, well, actually, pretty close to 4 for Kid Bomba. He should be able to hit it first no matter what. And they're going to use that pressure to start zoning out the rest of the Yangon members to allow TS to hit 4 on time. However, Sunset Lover, not there yet. Do they need to walk up to get the EXP? No, they're going to rush this.
It's such a good decision for them. Now, retreat battle is still going to be sour. Han was close to it, but it's such a good decision at the end of the day right now because they know there's no big ultimates to take anyway. So why do we need Sunset Lover on 4? We're just going to get tempo in mid, take that main win condition away from YG, and get that turtle.
It's abusing the timers. Ying was not level 4 at the right time. Han wants the contest, but unfortunately, even Kai's hitting level 4 doesn't make the difference in these moments. They need Blink to be level 4. They also need to make sure that everybody is ready to fight at the right time. So now with the off-tempo play, they steal it away. Great decision coming in from TS, but where is the rest of the conversion, right? As we go back to the neutral states, you can see that even Kid Bomba is still making Ying's life very difficult, despite Han purposefully showing himself.
He's dominating the lane right now, dude. And they're able to get... Whoa, that's so wild. There are no other ults to take. To be fair, it's either that or the final slash, right? Yeah. We're not going to take the Blades into it.
Well, honestly, we don't know. Yeah, maybe later in the game when you're desperate and you need to be able to kind of peel away from Sanji already on top of you, then maybe. But even so, at least with the battle spell, Sanji understands that he's got the Purify to work with. I just don't know how this lane is going to go for him. He's playing the lane well, right? But Hiko's got this freeze on him for this point, at this point of time. And until Hiko gets his first item, that's when he really starts to dominate the matchup.
And one thing I will say about Team Spirit and how they're able to actually just gain control of the map when nothing is happening is I think they're the best team at playing the neutral game. When there's nothing happening on the map, they are so good at maximizing all these small little trades on the map. Like even here, Bomba is getting a trade over on Kaize, giving Sunset Lover more pressure in the lane and stopping Kaize from putting those trap downs, you know? It's just such a small win, but it builds up, and that's why Team Spirit now, even though they're down a kill, are the ones up in tempo, in map pressure, and everything.
Exactly. Because by the time the turtle actually spawns, Kid Bomba in about roughly 6 or so seconds after the spawn, he's going to get his ult back. So they understand how these timers work. And you can see that Ying, as soon as Bomba shows up, he's like, oh man, I gotta try and forcefully clear this wave. We trade ults again. We're going to come back down to the turtle, and I think it's going to be that constant dance. I want to see what TS's decision is here, because now they can't sneak away this neutral objective, but I think they want to extend their lead. Oh, Bomba, he's got the proxy.
And Sunset, that's the reason he stole that Abyss Swarm. Man, Sunset with the flicker out from the stun as well. It's a proxy up top now. Did they go for the Rectory? Saw the flicker and the Wrath of the Dryad in the backline as well. It's going to be the jump on Sunset now with the steal on the slam side of the pass as Sawo gets away in time. He's going to be taken low though. Sanchi with a blazing away, takes him low, takes him out with Ying.
Don't punch it even further here. They're not done just yet. The arrow lands
over on Hiko, and it's Ying with a punish on the Vengeance.
That's what you want to see. Just continuous CC after CC just to give that extra bit of bonus damage coming in from Ying. Beautiful stuff all the way through, but at the same time, the game is not over just yet. At least the tempo has fallen back into Yangon's favor. But in the mid lane, just notice that Ying, now, he doesn't really want to be stuck in this lane any longer. Let's look at this replay one more time, right? Sawo so close to dying here. Sanji clearly doesn't have the items, but as soon as the Purify is out and Kais is able to find an off angle on any of the priority targets, there's nothing you can do.
Zara almost getting a sneaky little assassination there, but Han with the iframes, a bit too hard to kill. I think what we need to talk about, Gideon, is the fact that Team Spirit intentionally took that fight a bit long. Hit Bomba though. The final slash lands on him, but Ying doesn't have the vengeance again. Bomba now able to get the shielding in time. Han cannot take him out.
That's got to be frustrating.
Now 3 series in a row where he just can't kill Bomba.
It's annoying because you can tell that Ying, he was thinking about jumping this, and Han was like, no, give me the kill, sir. Please, please, I need this right now. You're already 2-0. I'm 0-2. Just give me a little bit of gold, and it could make the difference here. And that might have just costed them a lot more than they would have imagined here, but you're absolutely right.
You have to go back to before the fight. Bomba didn't go for the rotation straight up, even though he had a tempo advantage over Ying. He stayed and he cut, he proxied deeper. So it was almost as if Team Spirit knew they weren't going to take that fight. They were just trying to prolong it so that YG can't get their early snowball in time.
And not to mention that they're utilizing their threats, like Sawa walking up and faking the movements, trying to throw as many feints just to get YG to react. Is Sawa in trouble here? He shouldn't be in trouble, right? Yeah, he's totally fine. And he's able to get a little bit of his health back. This is why Beleric is just so annoying to deal with. Very similar to Glue in a lot of senses, but just can't fight as often as Glue.
Bomba opening up again. This time around, it's going to be Team Spirit with a man advantage. Grouping up, but they have to split up. Remember, Blink can find an AoE. Now Blink with a meltdown. It's going to be Ying caught in the deadly magic. The ball started with the Wrath of the Dryad, lands on everybody.
The combo is good, and now they're using their Clint to cut through the rest of them as Kid Bomba, making sure that Sanji can't even walk up to auto anybody else. I am your bullet sponge. Don't look at anywhere else, please.
Ying is isolated. He's chasing all alone. Wait, that's not Ying. That's Blink. Now the blazing duet coming through, and it's actually all planned, calculated by Blink, capitalized on by Sanji. Bomba's going to be able to look for that compensation, though, as now they go for the turtle. 2-1 in turtles, in neutral objectives, but TS, stay busy. It's Sour up top with a turret.
Man, this is a tough matchup. I was wondering whether Hiko on this Clint was a good option. They wanted to win the lane, which technically they sort of got, but they still can't deal with Blink. If Blink gets on top of Hiko, it's kind of over for his life. Even if he does actually have the flicker, he's got to time it perfectly. For the rest of the team, at least for TS, it's about peeling, and even so, they don't have the correct answers, right? I don't think Kid Bomba or Zara Egoist or Sunset Lover wants to be the one getting pulled away, but that's the thing, right? Yangon, they're trying to keep it tricky. Blink getting on top of Sawo initially, pretty good idea, but unfortunately, where do you pull him to?
Blink with a walk up again, stun over. Sawo gets caught by the arrow, the final slash lands on Bomba. He's trying to capitalize now with a blast pass, brings him all the way back to Han, and he gets the Sky Piercer stack.
Better target priority. That's exactly what we want to see from the Yangon Galacticos here. You don't want to pull Sawo into your team, but Kid Bomba, you know what? Without Purify, let's do it.
How the heck is the lead?
So little.
1,000 at this point, right? You would expect at least 1,000. Another arrow in mid. Kaiser with the flicker out. Blink was looking for that slam. Finds it on Sawo. Again, chained together with the Abyssal arrow. Sawo hasn't moved in a good 5 seconds.
The living ward, the living sentinel, the living tree is still holding strong. But Sanji also now realizing he can't waste any more time. As much as we've commended TS for actually not only dragging out games, but they are so good at being efficient efficient with their time. Yangon are starting to pick up steam at this stage of the game. First helm already complete from Glue. Berserker's Fury finally on top of the endless battle. I'm not sure if the Rapid Boost is going to keep people alive, but man, this mid-tier 1, you can see that both sides, they really want to crack it open.
The Spirit are trying to play on the other side of the map every time, reacting to YG really well. Sanji using the BMI, the Deadly Magic does land in the end. Now is Hans going to be isolated from the rest of the team. Sawo able to get the taunt down on Blink as Bamba goes in, but it's going to be the final slash, running a Sunset Lover. Caught by Ying, taken out by Han. The missile arrow goes wide as Han goes in again. Is able to escape, and YG will utilize this van advantage to rotate straight into the neutral objective.
Oh, the red herring here. Ying showing that final slash to Kid Bamba as if, yeah, I'm looking for you. No, I'm going to go for somebody else. And they've got 10 seconds worth of tempo here. Sawo, he can try and delay with the Raptor of the Dryads, but this is First Lord. This is really important for either side.
Sawo has a position, goes in with a poker trick onto Blink. Oh, arrow lands again, baits out the Purify from Bamba as Blink gets the pass. Now, that's a Swift Trinity completed by Sanji. Very quick at 10 minutes.
Honestly, not a bad idea for Bamba to actually absorb the arrow early on, predestined to fight, knowing that Sunset Lover is coming back up and he has that Purify, because you can see that Yangon, they want to react to this.
These Deadly Magics from Zaur, man, he's using it more as a poke tool than to finish people off, right? He's just coming in, space escape into a Deadly Magic. Doesn't even matter if he lands the poker trick or not.
Yeah, no, it's so true, because again, they don't have the sustainability.
This is a crazy Lord Dance. Blink. Able to jump on Sawo. He's able to stay back up. Bamba no Purify for another 48 seconds. He's holding on this position. And Zaur's too far. On with the red tree, securing the neutral objective. Sunset Lover Sawo goes to the right to try it, but he's going to be all alone. And now it's the rest of the team who's going to take him out.
Oh man, the Minesweepers just wasn't enough. Oh, the final slash!
Lands on Sunset. It's Han on a killing spree. And he's able to buy some time now. Up top, it was Blink who got the solo against Zaur.
Oh my goodness, this is not going well for Team Spirit's Yangon. Now looking for some revenge after game number 1. Fine, technical prowess you can take, but we know how to fight, and they are fighting hella good.
No Purify, final slash into the arrow. And Sanji picks up another kill.
Double Holy Shielding down. What a statement here from Yangon that they are not going to lose confidence just because they dropped a singular game because they weren't able to fight. Now, because denied of that fight, they're getting extra messy. They're going to reach further than what TS expected. Can they actually get this? No, they don't have the minions.
Cleared it out just in time by Team Spirit. But remember, that siege was YG without the Lord. They got the Lord, but they chose to just push it forward.
Oh, it's a pretty big attempt here. If they can get an inhibitor, that would be great. But at the same time, see that TS, as much as they want to engage, they kind of need their flickers, and they know that Sawo's flicker is coming up in 45 seconds. So at this point, how else can they look to delay this? They might have to sacrifice at least one of these inhibs.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to have to sacrifice the top side, man. They're not even going to be sending all their members there. Protecting the far lane and the bottom lane, I think it's a wise decision. But still, for YG, they'll take what they can get. That's a Melfic gun now for Sanji. 12 minutes.
He's strong, but the big game changer here really has been Kai'Sa as well as Ying. Those arrows have been perfect, okay?
Almost immobilization. Sanji with a Melfic gun, abusing it and able to find a turret in the mid lane. So that's 2 with the First Lord.
Interesting. So Sunset Lover has been stealing away the ult coming in from Kai'Sa just because it technically works as a morph. So when you have morph, you actually get access to the rest of the abilities, like the arrow, like the trap. So they've been trading back and forth here. But I think the big issue is the fact that Yangon has set the minefield every single time. In the previous Lord take, Zaur couldn't even get in on the typical angles or off angles onto the Lord pit because of how many abyssal traps revealed his position. Looking at the items, Chastised Fulgent finally done. Done here is the first item coming in from Sawo, on top of the fact that he's got the Radiant Armor. Now it looks like he's building up to the Guardian Helm as well. In terms of the raw magic damage, they've got the burst. However, down by the bottom side, we look at Hiko. He's got 3 items too, but those positions are really difficult, especially when Blink has Flicker. He's just got to react.
No chance. Still going to be very tough. And now it gets even worse for Spirit because how are they going to catch Sanji? He has a winner crown very soon, already has that Melfic gun, is scaled past, I think, a lot of Team Spirit's own win con. So it will really take YG to make some mistakes for Team Spirit to be able to actually look for an angle to come back here.
I think the worst possible scenarios, if they can chain CC off of the Wrath of the Dryads, that's one. The second dangerous one is getting hit by 2 Shadow Strikes from Sunset Lover and getting terrified. I think that's also probably the worst case scenario.
Oh! Arrow lands on Sao. They're doing a good job zoning. Sour Ego is from this lore. 15,000 HP on it.
It's so good. The Wishing Lantern getting some really good poke here as they're looking to contest the angles from both sides.
Low Sunset Lover in the mid lane as well. That bottom lane is looking juicy for YG. As patient as ever.
They can't correct this in time. I don't think they can, and I think YG should start actually taking the space, but Sanji just used his BMI. They might wait for it a little bit longer.
He's going to be sent up top, I believe, to deal with that wave, yes. As YG control this Lord again. Sunset Lover is busy in the mid lane, handling those big minions.
Now they just have to dance for a little bit. Even YG understand this is a dangerous 50-50 to be had, right? Level 15 to level 15, as much as they have iframes, Zara's Retribution, if well timed, could steal this and drag this game out longer than it should be.
That wave in bot wasn't pushed properly by YG. Oh no! Hiko able to react in time to that flicker in the final slash. Hiko, that second skill, that catch could have just possibly won them a Lord. Because look at the bottom lane. That was so unlucky for YG. They didn't build it in time, and now it's building back for Team Spirit. Slow push, and Han cannot go down.
It turned from an offensive assault to now a defensive assault, and TS now whole priority here. Yangon, you have a 5.7k lead, and yet they still can't get close to this Lord, not without having to worry about a bot tier 2 being traded out. And TS, they're so happy about this. They're dancing for days, and now they see Blink.
Sao, he knows it's a tendency of Blink. He studied Blink's gameplay all throughout. He always looks for these plays, and that's the forced error. Team Spirit with a macro masterclass.
Oh, and now the Guardian Helm is done, so Sao can walk up, take some damage, walk away from the fight, and come back in.
Han's bot! Abyssal arrow doesn't land. Han's still in the bottom lane. They're going to go for the first right now. Blink goes over the stars, able to pass. It's a final slash, brings Sour away. He's able to get away with the face against escape for now, but Sour wins it, gets the retry, suns with the blink around, and Han.
And they're still chasing you. They're about to get 1 and get 2 killing spree for Kaise as they chase the last remaining members to try and close out this game.
Team Spirit played for the Lord. YG say, damn the Lord, we'll take the fight, we'll wipe you out, and we'll equalize in this grand final.
Oh my goodness, this is what we were looking for, a 16-2 game for the Yangon Galacticos. Statements made. We don't care what the world thinks of us. We brought it to 1-1. No confidence lost.
And what a way to start. Possibly the best grand finals ever. I mean, when it comes to results, nobody predicted these two teams to be up here, and to see it at 1-1, to see it this close, to see the dynamic between the teams, one playing slow for objectives through macro, the other one saying, no, we brawl.
And now we have to talk about the out-of-game aspect. For Team Spirit, they've been more consistent throughout all of their games, but there's one thing that Yangon Galacticos got going for them, and that's momentum. If they can build this up with one extra game, the odds of Team Spirit are starting to look a little shaky unless they start correcting this draft. I know that they didn't want to give the Wrath of the Dryads over to Yangon Galacticos, but it may have hurt them because they got them no ults, and Ying was just playing out of his mind.
You gotta give props to Blink as well, though. What a fantastic performance on this glue. Even in that last skirmish, he was the one who jumped on Zaur. Then we saw the final slash. It almost looked, this was it. Blink with the jump. Zaur get chain CC, zone away. In the end, he still got it, but he had to sweat. He had to move. He had to use all of his resources just to get that Lord.
Oh, man, we are running out of resources here at the desk. We're going to be throwing it back to the panel to break this down for y'all.
Hey. Thank you so much. We said these teams were tested with adaptation to get here, but it is now the requirement to stay here. One heavy punch, and the response with the uppercut. A swift defeat of Team Spirit. Yangon Galacticos even things up in the 1-1 as our best of 7 turns into a best of 5. Rain Day, Brig, LaFell to break the action down. That Arlet from Ying. They change the strategy. They take away the Paquito. They take away all of the options that we've seen be so successful, the Barats for Kid Bumba, and then they have that answer.
Yeah, and I still can't believe Han was just last seen in the bottom lane a couple seconds ago. That's why Spirit were just going going for the Lord, but then you suddenly see him also being part of that fight, which really mattered to them. And it's so surprising to see Yangon bouncing back like that, because that game 1 loss felt like it wasn't a loss you could just easily recover from.
I mean, that's one of the strengths of Herrera. Once she gets about 2 or 3 items, she's almost max CDR, and that makes it so that her skill cooldown is incredibly short. The fact that she doesn't have any mana makes it so that she can just spam all of the dashes, making it so that even though she is taking care of the long lane, she can still participate in the upcoming fight. And again, this is what we wanted from Yangon when they said they're going to be aggressive.
Yeah.
This is the aggression that we want to see.
It started out with Herrera as the conversation against Ling. Ling has dropped out, but Herrera, I mentioned the iframes. I thought that Gord, and when you look at Kaise, could have gotten several kills, wasn't able to do it, but that might have just been the hero. And taking this hero now into the hands of Han, what can Zauer Egoist do? We talk about the implications of damage from Harley, but you still now have Kaise back on the Selena feeling comfortable. The Ying can make plays. The Esmeralda's good in lane. Kimbamba likes to get aggressive. But guys, when you look at these stats, what went so right?
Honestly, when we look at his stats, the one that you have to look at is actually Kaiser. The damage dealt is 51,000. I think a lot of it, hey minions! I think a lot of it is coming in from the traps. But the important thing is that aggression starts with a lot of damage. And that happened when they do have the Selena. The Selena, I would say even level 1, already deals quite a lot.
Yeah, I was honestly considering it even as one of the potential pickups for
Cryos?
Spirit earlier when they were just left for second phase mid lane options. But they still went for the Valentina. I think in a way gave them some of the playmaking capabilities, but I don't think they were really able to put it into use. Like we saw how Sunset Lover occasionally got to steal away the final slash and such, but it was always just them using it when they were already forced to use it more defensively, more during a messy team fight, because Yangon were very efficient in just already isolating who they want to go for first and allocating who needs to go in first. It can be Ying, it can be Blink, and Blink too. On this glue.
You were questioning the glue. We thought, like, is this enough? But it was.
I mean, like, we questioned it because he could get countered, but he didn't, right? No bad heroes for glue was picked up, and Blink, man, like, that guy is amazing.
Yeah, he's playing great. LaFell, you got another Telestrator for us? Let's check out what you have to say.
So I'm going to be pretty quick for this one, but I feel like most of the MLBB community will agree with me on this one, where a lot of attention is in the jungle, being like the primary mover of the map, main damage dealer and everything. But throughout this MSC Rain Day, I personally feel like the biggest conversation is the front line, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And even in American football, the line has to be strong enough to either protect the pocket or create space for a good running play. And that's what we see here in MLBB, where in game number 1, we saw both Kip Bomba as well as Hiko really helping out whenever they do get these two heroes, right? The Paquito as well as the Barras. They're amazing playmakers, space creators as well. And with both of them out, it makes the game fair. And I think this is the first good step that Yangon really took. But then we saw Ying on this Arlet as well as Blink on this Glue. I really feel like for all of the games in this best of 7, who has the better playmaking frontliner, the potential of winning is much higher. So we're going to be looking that in the draft later on. And in terms of the clips here, I would say this just shows when you have a very strong frontliner, you're able to actually space everyone out for the opponents, making it so that it's easier for your team to really contest the Lord. Because as we see here, what we're going to be seeing is really just the positions of all the members of Team Spirit. They're spread out. They want to make sure that they don't get caught, especially by Ying using the Arlet here. But in terms of that, you can see that what Team Spirit thought was going to happen was they're going to delay the Lord because they're trying to pick a fight, but that's not what happened. The moment they know that the Harley is nowhere close, they just contested for the Lord, burst it down, and they're able to do that. And then afterwards, we start to see whenever the team fight starts happening, a lot happened coming in from Ying as well as the Glue. Because look at this. Ying able to jump in using the minions to dash with the Vengeance and then catching Sunset Lover. We even see the mark is there so that Ying has another Vengeance going in. And this is why in the draft now, who's the EXP?
Yeah.
Who's the role? Is it a fighter goal lane? If it is, what is going to be that fighter goal lane? Because who can create the opportunities will win the game.
I think that's what it's been about, right, Brig? I mean, who can create more opportunities? This game, it was more on Ying than it was Kid Bumba.
Yeah, he had to live up to the undying name here. Well, why? We thought it was good.
No, it's bad and good at the same time. I love it.
I think it's
It's
good.
cool,
I
right?
just was
I
to
love
hear
it.
you say it too.
Yeah, because at this point, or at least in this game, yes, he did get taken down once, but it's not like that's what really mattered. It's his presence who feels like he's someone you just could not consider for pickoffs at all, because he had a very high mobility hero. Again, it was the Arlott with a vengeance, and he was the guy that they really had to be wary of whenever they sensed that a team fight was actually gonna break out, because you could maybe look at Blink, but he's more there to just mess things up. He already presents himself there once the team fight has broken out, but Ying has been the pace dictator at least for this game.
And I just like the draft in general. I think the response was to deal with the problems, and obviously Paquito early, but when you don't have the Paquito, you allow Sanji to be that much more effective and comfortable on the clock that he wants to actually play. Guys, there's a lot that's occurred here. We're going to take a quick one, and in the meantime, check out Mobile Legends Adventure. On the flip side, we'll have Game 3.
My friends, we're all tied up here in our grand final. Incredible match we're seeing so far. But I wanted to check in with another incredible person. Mom Bomba is joining us here, the mother of the wonderful Kid Bomba, as you're seeing. And wanted to ask you a couple questions here, of course, auf Deutsch, in German, when it's possible. First of all, how is Bomba as a person? Is he always so, I guess, he has that personality also in real life? Wie ist Bomba als Kind? Ist er immer so selbstbewusst als hier in MSC?
Ja, der war selbstbewusst und ein fröhlicher Junge.
Yeah, this is how he is. He is very confident and he's a very happy young man. And that's exactly what we're seeing here out of him on the screen as well. Our second question, the entire community so far has been reacting so positively, which is wonderful to see, especially given your support for Bomba as his mother. Do you have anything for kind of words of comfort for maybe parents out there that want to help their sons, their kids that want to become professional players? Die ganze Community reagiert so positiv auf deine Unterstützung für Kid Bomba als seine Mutter. Haben Sie eine Botschaft für andere Eltern, dass sie auch deren Kinder in E-Sports antreten wollen?
Ja, natürlich. Die sollen ihre Kinder einfach ihre Träume ermöglichen, freilassen.
Of course, it's very simple, really. Let your kids really play out their dreams and help them, support them to actually make that happen. Mama Bomba, danke schön. Danke auch. Thank you very much. Let's check in what's happening with our next game.
Well, Mom Bomba, I love the way that flows. Mom Bomba.
Bum, bum, bum.
Feels like we're speaking another language. Milos on his 7th language or something at this point. I don't know. The man speaks Arabic, French, English, German. What can't he do? Speak Lafelian.
Minion language.
That's what I said, Mignonese.
Yeah, Mignonese.
Only a few people.
How does that sound?
I promise
duck?
by the next tournament, I'll figure out the language.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'll hold you to it.
Yes.
What did you want to say?
No, I was just so happy to see that.
I mean, like, where else can we go with this conversation? Really?
Probably nowhere. I'm hoping
All
you
right,
guys
what?
drop it.
The only thing I could think of was probably Mambomba already has a fans club by now too.
You know,
Oh yeah, probably.
Because I also
think
saw
so.
signage already.
I think so, and you've seen Team Spirit gather around the heart and soul of it. You might have seen maybe the analysis, the technical part with the team, but when it comes to the heart, it certainly feels like it is Mambomba in the stands and everyone who is around her, talking to her, rooting her on, supporting her through. You should have seen the emotion versus ONIC yesterday. That was powerful. And part of the reason is that there's $1 million on the line. The winner of this, she could see her son suddenly enter the Millionaires Club, which is a beautiful thing.
At about what, 21 years old?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Support your child and their dreams. That's what she said, right?
Yes, you're right. I'm trying to hear back what you say. Yeah, I think you're correct.
Yeah, it's
Support your child, live out their dreams.
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
Right,
There you go.
right, Rain-Day?
yeah, and you get to see, it's a special thing. You get to see family being next to you when you're doing something important. I think that's just such a beautiful thing to see and witness. And obviously, Team Spirit, they go back to the drawing board. They have the emotions, they have the ups, they have the downs of Game 2. Now it's Game 3, guys. They're bouncing back.
Speaking of, I think the support of, doesn't matter, families, friends, or whatever, in terms of going for your dream is very important, because here's the thing. I think there's no dream in the world that doesn't require some kind of sacrifice that will make you really scared about moving forward. It doesn't matter if the dream sounds like something simple, but I feel like in all the years that I've lived, everyone that tells me their dreams, you can't get that without sacrificing something, either physical, mental, or even spiritual.
And it's even more, and Brig, I think you agree, it's even more important to know that nowadays, most of that sacrifice is not in front of us, guys. We see the results, we don't see what goes into it. And you know as much as any of these players how much time and effort goes into just being a part of this moment. And then there's still the job's not done. That is in the back of their mind. We still have to win. It is a best of 5 now, 1-1. As our draft continues, and Zushin, Atlas, Fanny Band this time around for Team Spirit. It's Paquito, Barats again, and Freya for Yangon Galacticos, who are on red side and respond with the Ying and the Eudora. First pick, Harara, stolen away, and is going to go back in the hands of Zaur Egoist.
Yeah, but I think Yangon are still very happy with this, considering that they've stuck with the pattern of taking out the Paquito and securing one of their power picks, their comfort picks for Sanji. I think they're in a good spot, at least for now, in the pace of the draft.
One other thing that I like as well is they took away that Eudora so that just in case they want to use that Suyo, then they can. It's not immediately punished. Sure, the Selena is there, also have a lot of burst damage, but the thing is, it's not as easy as Eudora.
And I like this too. I think, again, as we see this third pick, Brig, do you enjoy the approach of maybe saving Rome till Red 3 or even saving Rome until the second phase?
If it's teams like YG and Spirit, yes, because we see even Carmilla's, even Chips being played on the map. But this is a really good response, I feel, from YG. They're sticking with the glue, and it, I think, is just so much better in this composition where you have to body block so much.
And I feel like YG has this calculated risk where they don't mind picking up the glue because, yes, it is one of their comforts, but also they just know Spirit's draft pattern to know that this is not going to get immediately punished. Sure, maybe in this best of 7, eventually Hiko will pick up something like the carry and able to deal with both the Claude as well as the glue. The problem is, again, Eudora is having a range advantage up against that carry, so that's just something that you always have to think about. Carry is such a good hero, but is not without its risk.
Yeah, and I think you don't see two of the most important heroes to look at when you actually want to lock in your gold laner, which are probably the jungle and the EXP lane, because these are the two heroes who could probably just be assigned to go after Hiko. And considering that we have so much less in terms of fighter options in the gold lane, then there might be so much more consideration put into that. Because I feel like even looking at what's left in terms of that, I don't think you see an assassin, or you could just predict an assassin to come through immediately for YG just to lock in a Ruby, which is more commonly a response towards that kind of jungler. So sticking with the marksman is still something that's probably going to come out from Team Spirit, but they took out one of the least wanted ones against their lineup, which is the Melissa.
Golden EXP being looked for on the side of Team Spirit. And when you come to YG, still looking for that EXP as well. And they're going to find their jungle pick. The Arlot taken away. So again, a ban towards the EXP. The Phoveus also, but that still leaves a couple of things open. You still have the Uranus and the Esmeralda that can go toe-to-toe in the EXP lane. Both teams, are they content with that?
Yeah, I feel like YG was challenging Team Spirit because they're betting out the Phoveus, which we haven't seen banned quite a lot, especially like you say, the Uranus is still up, Esme is still up, so they're kind of like saying like, are you going to respect the Arlet? And looks like they have. So right now, YG, I don't mind them picking up something like the Uranus or as the Esmeralda, just because I feel like with the glue as well as Eudora, it should be enough crowd control.
Yeah, and there's still a possibility of maybe them picking up the Nolan later on, which I feel would, if ever they're looking at either that.
I feel like last is fine because Suyo, Nolan. I still prefer Nolan, but
yeah. So that could be an option if they really just took out the Phoveus, and maybe we're looking at that. Oh, but they're the ones who get the Ruby. Yeah, this is Ying. So he can pretty much just pull it off however he wants. But Spirit, okay, they now fully know that this is going to be Ruby XP and Claude Gold. So do they still want to go all in on dive?
I feel like YG is also considering whether they need a Harley for this one or they need a Nolan.
Oh yeah.
Or is it gonna be a game where they can scale up? Honestly, with the Selena, I don't think that you can really scale up something with the Yi Shin.
Right.
Especially Ruby as well. I feel like this need at least one magic resist item and then she should be good. Well, now she might need more because the Hive has been picked up by Team Spirit and now the Lapu as well. So Lapu and Ruby, I would say it's a pretty good matchup because both kind of want to fight around minions. And when there's minions around, they're just going to lifesteal just way too much.
Team Spirit have already shown their cards. Guinevere banned on the side of YG. Still picking for the jungle. Herrera taken away. The Ling has not been played since what feels like a few weeks ago. And so the Nolan it is. You guys called it. And you like it a little bit better, you said, LaFell.
Yeah, just because the Nolan can match the speed of Herrera, but we'll see. If this Selena does have the veteran hunter, then maybe Herrera will just be that bit faster, but I feel like YG has a comp that can slow them down enough that it just neutralizes whatever advantage that the Selena can have around the jungle.
Yeah, and they can pretty much move fast enough to get away from danger. Well, at least that's what they need, because I think Spirit and the lineup that they currently have are just so good at setting up for team fights.
Well, it was an early game win for Team Spirit. YG, like we have not seen in this tournament, respond right away to even the score. A best of 7 turned to a best of 5. Who's going to take the lead to start it off? Gideon and Mirko?
Well, that's a really difficult question right now. I'm leaning a little bit into Yangon only because they're a momentum-based team. You know, every single time they get that win, they just seem to be sharper. They seem to build up so much steam as they get right into this game. Team Spirit going to be on blue side, facing up against the Yangon Galacticos on the red. Purple start here from Czar and Sunset Lover. It's going to be a green camp start on the purple side for Yangon.
I just really like Team Spirit's draft, though, honestly. Just looking at the way that they play, how they, again, control these neutral objectives. It seems like they have built a composition to play around that, right? Even Bomba on an old but still signature Lapu pick against Ying here. He's going to have to be careful against the Ruby. He's doing a good amount of damage, but he popped the regen, Ying.
Yeah,
so that was
it's
very
okay.
weird.
At least for Ruby, she's not hyper reliant on it, right?
Yeah.
Naturally inbuilt sustain, just needs to walk up to the wave. I'm low, not a big item, not a big deal. But every single time she tries to go for the sustain, she's unintentionally pushing the wave, right? Now Sanji, we're looking back at the emblems. It is Season Hunter here, but Sanji did have to take the Purify, and the same goes for Hiko. So very lucky matchup here for both Sanji and Hiko.
Sanji already winning in the lane earlier, but he Hiko will be able to get that gold crab with the help of Sunset Lover to relieve our pressure a bit. Kid Bamba spots out Han up top. We're gonna have to respect this man, but Bamba actually just walks up onto Han. Wait! A fracture on the other side. Now, these were the jitters I expected game one.
Yeah. I think maybe the pressure is starting to surmount, and I think at least for Han, he recognizes like, okay, my ult technically up pretty short. I can use it willy-nilly as long as there's like 15 seconds on that turtle. Then it's fine. We can still look for other plays across the map. The question is, what is that play going to look like, right? Because every single time it comes down to the mid side, both teams are very well adjusted to each other. You can see that a lot of their rotations, they're not taking the dangerous paths no more. They're opening up the map slowly after sending 1 or 2 members. And Blink this time, he's back on Minesweeper duty.
Bamba got level 4 though. Blink opening up. This should be a free neutral objective with the Season Hunter, or rather just a Selena. Boom, bang, Team Spirit without even the retribution, pick up the neutral objective again. 3 games in a row. It's them who strike first on the neutral objective.
Yeah, let's see whether the vertical jungling is going to start, right? An invasion from Hirara, able to steal away at least 1 green camp. Han doesn't go vertically. He's going to head straight to his next buff here. Notices that it's missing. What can you do about it? Little Wonder is up in 11 seconds, but here on top side, this is where it's extremely volatile, right? Because Kim Bamba, if he can zone Ying away from that lane, they're in trouble.
Pullback Bamba's able to escape just in time, doesn't even burn the flicker. And now they try to regain control over the map. Link in the mid lane now, shoved away from that bush. Sour Ego still has a whole bottom side jungle to clear.
And I love the fact that Yangon are taking into account everything. Hey, Bamba's walking in a pretty weird direction. There's a good chance there's an Abyssal Arrow coming in the exact same linear trajectory. So at this point, Yangon have a lot of different things to think about micro-wise on top of making some heavy decisions. And I think for TS, they don't mind it taking it just a little slow, right? We're expecting the big fights that happen by neutral objectives and nowhere else.
This is where it gets really good for the Harith. You know, early on level 1 to 3, the Claw's gonna have an advantage, you know, able to get away from the Synchro Fission. But the thing about the Harith is, as long as he's able to survive that level 1 to 3, he gets complete monopoly over the gold crabs, and that's going to give him such a big lead later on, obviously, if it continues here. So, YG, I think they're gonna have to try sending some of those members down below to just take the gold crab away. It doesn't even matter if Sanji doesn't get it, as long as it's not on the hands of Hiko.
Yep, they just have to deny it. And let's not forget about the lane matchup. There still is a kill angle for Hiko onto Sanji, assuming that Sanji has no BMI and happens to get caught by, whether it's the edge, ideally in the middle of that Zaman Force. The movement speed reduction, really a pain in the butt in the early stages of Zower. Okay.
Wow. Untargetable into the immobilization. The Imo Fennec comes around right now. Sunset didn't land the Abyssal Arrow. TS will call it off.
Great composure coming in from Ying. If I was in that position, I would have flickered or something. But again, holding it close and making sure that they're playing against the wave to sandbag the lane.
Now the Abyssal Arrow again. Now landing. It's here with a flicker. That's why he saved it all the time. Sour still able to get the entry in time as Yang. He had the composure, but it's the all-in onto him as Sour is waiting for the untargetable. Goes under tournament. Is able to go back and forth. Oh my God!
Outplays him with the iframe. Sour does it perfectly. I really thought that maybe he should die there, and he still survived. He's got the combo points.
The Wonder Boy of ECA. Sour Egoist. First it was Blink, second attempt was Han. Both failed, and Bamba takes the XP crab away.
Now, this is a very similar rotation that we saw in game number 2 coming in from the Yangon Galacticos. Sunset Lover finds the punish, chunks Han out and says, you better go back to base. That orange buff, you're not going to get anywhere near it. And Sunset Lover is walking up to ensure that it's, hold on, a bit of an awkward time to go for a replay there. But coming back into this fight, the wombo combos, like we mentioned for this composition, they have to be on point. And Team Spirit understand they can't just fight willy-nilly. There's got to be a conversion area.
I thought he was chopped, and then he gets the killing spree proc. And then what happened here? He was probably also screaming, Sour! Oh my God.
It's accurate, even in slow motion. It's just crazy that the lethal ignition didn't proc away. They just needed one more auto attack and would have done the job. Now, the 2 flickers down on Sunset Lover and as well as Sawa at this stage of the game, with the rest of the team from Yangon Galacticos also about to get their own battle spells up. The major advantage really comes on to the multiple members of TS. From EXP all the way down to Gold, everybody has found a slight advantage.
Hiko is really becoming a problem though, right? He already held a monopoly over that gold crab. Now, he's taking the XP crab, putting him in a great position for Turtle 3.
He's just a little itchy for these crabs, you know?
Oh, Sour. Okay, hold on now.
Hey, he's going to proxy the way very early on here. And look at the coverage coming in from the rest of the TS, right? Han, if he can find this, that would be insane.
Sour's so smart. Every single time, he never uses both the proxy. Only just uses one to clear it out. That's why Han can't go in now. He's going to be spotted. Sour with the walk up again. He's going to go with the retribution, and he wins it 50-50. As he missile arrow lands on Han, and now the rest of the team goes in. Sour, Wrath of the Dryad, change CC Ying. Taken low, but not down just yet. Bomba walks up forward, gets the last hit. Now it's Sanji on Bomba, but Sawo playing a great position, holding it.
Amazing mechanics, really amazing mechanics. Can they get a little bit more here? Because now, this is the position that Yangon always finds themselves. Mid-tier 1 threatened, and Han has to give up his life for it too.
Double immobilization from Sour. Han cannot be walking like that. Sunset with the capitalization, and now Kaize. It's going to be so difficult for him to find burst. Bomba's just taking it like a champ.
Yup, and now from this point onwards, we're expecting TS to just skyrocket. Their stonks are getting bigger and bigger. The gold lead and deficit here for Yangon spreads very thin. Abyssal Rally connects here, but look at Sauer. He wants to go in, and I'm pretty sure Sauer's telling him, relax.
I think Sauer knows exactly what he was doing there, man. He just wanted to bait out the flicker. That was really good CC immune by Bomba. Now the Rapid Drive to the taunt over. That's going to completely lock down on Blink. Taking out a Sunset. He's going to be taken low, but is able to get away for a bit. Baiting out some resources. Sauer gets away from Ying. And it's TS who are just showing how good they can be with the mechanics as well.
They trade out Sunset Lover for Blink. Ideal, it's not ideal, of course, but they got the battle spell out of Kaizen. No flicker for him. They're making sure. Let's look at the items real quick. 2 to 1.5 for the comparison between Sanji as well as Hiko. Cheaper items as per usual, but even so, you know, big items like Lightning Truncheons for the extra burst. We do see a Chastised Pauldron being purchased by Sawa, so again, it's still a little difficult to take him out when he goes for those big flicker plays on top of the Wrath of the Dryads. Overall, the biggest problem right now is the fact that Zara can basically fight whenever alongside with Sunset Lover. With that War Axe, doesn't matter how low he gets chunked out, he will be able to heal back to full as long as there's a wave, there's a camp somewhere.
Uh-oh. Careful, Sanji. Bomba with the Bravest Fighter. Jumps in with the flicker as well. Now he's going to the blazing weapon. He's going to get bursted down. Now with the Purify. It don't matter. When Bomba knocks, you just got to react in time. Blake gets caught in the stun and the Dryad.
The fight was already over before it even began. I mean, he's going to try, but they're going to get him here. Zara executes him underneath the turret like it was nothing. Fallen Maple, baby. He's so good. These young junglers are ridiculous. Whether it be Han, whether it be Zara, put him on something as overpowered as a Hirara, and it looks crazy.
Bang. Bonk.
You got to give it a Kid Bomba here. And also, it's more of a mistake on Sanji for just not instantly purifying and getting out of that position. He held it for a little too long.
And now it's a free neutral objective. 10-1. 6.4k gold lead. Bomba on the Lapu Lapu. With Sunset stealing away camps, but you know, Hasa has retribution, still able to secure it. Fracture on the green camp, not giving anything away. But man, wait, Zara got a kill off camera on Kaize. Oh, during the replay. Oh my God.
Yeah, just one shot him. Like, he is so strong right now. It's ridiculous, and he's maintaining these War Axe.
Doesn't even have side piercer, right?
He doesn't. He's that's why I say, Hirara, as soon as you hit level 15, you feel like an absolute monster, with or without the CDR, right? Just the natural damage that you have, and you're able to triple it every time you use one of those combo points.
Zauer. Go in. Bomba with a jump on the Bravest Spider. Now on YG. Oh, just instant CC immune to get out of that. I'm offended, Ying. Just cannot land those CC locks.
And look at it on the bot side. You can see that Han is trying his best to get it tier 2. Blink should survive here, but they might just end up losing it here. Yep. Good lord.
I guess no.
I guess no. This is a really tough game. Really tough game for Yangon, right?
Look at the items, bro. What does he have? What is he packing?
I think he's already packing his 4th item at this stage, right? It's an 8k lead. I think 4,000 is should be on Zara at this point. He's a 2-level lead against Han. He's stolen what? How many buffs at this point? 3 buffs at this point. It's been difficult. It's been pretty difficult. And Hiko just getting, hey guys, it's me, Feather Heaven. Where y'all at?
Everybody's at 6 items. Like, yeah, better event.
Guys, my investments are working out.
Dude, I mean, for YG right now, there's literally nothing you can do. It's 11 to 1. You can only just wait in your base. It's a Eudora as well.
Dude, he is nearly 10,000 extra damage ahead of Kaize, and somehow Han has not been able to find the big burst damage or the snowball that we were looking for. Holy, 4 items!
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe it was a little short on the roar, but good.
No wonder. He's basically dealing true damage, right? Before YG members can even get those physical defense items, he already has the Melting Roar.
Yep, and I love the fact that Kid Bomba understands that he still needs to be somewhat tanky here, right? He's not like trying to greed out, going for the Hunter Strike. He's like, all right, I've got the Queen's Wings, got the Chastised Pauldron. I'm going to dive every single time. And with the damage reduction, if I hit multiple people, even better, my anti-CC can get me in and out of these fights. So really, the all-in is dependent on Yangon more than it is for Team Spirit.
You know, damage taken as well. Bomba taking a beating, but really hasn't reflected. He has 0 deaths. Bomba with a jump in the flicker on Kaize again, bidding on some of those resources, taking everything and finding the stun. Bomba!
Oh, a mistake, and now they're going to get punished for it. Ying goes down. Blink should be the next to fly here with an epically strong eco on top of it all. Like, if things could not get worse here in game number 3 for the momentum that Yangon built in game number 2, TS has completely shut it down.
Bomba just took a 1v5, baited all the resources, everybody corralled in, and it didn't matter. Bros 3, 0, and 3. Now with a Brave Spider again, no flicker, so he can't go for that stun, but he's able to buy some time right now. The arrow lands in the back line, and it's going to be sunset, and Sour goes godlike. Han's going to be taken down, and that's Team Spirit, who leads the series 2-1.
Yeah, that's a really big mistake there. Bomba jumps in, was not supposed to actually land the stun onto Sanji, and yet it did, forcing him to flicker out, and that costed them the entire fight. It's moments like this, small little details that make all the difference. And Team Spirit answered back, you know what, we'll take this game. Yangon just have to say, well, okay, GG go next. It's still a best of 7. First of 4 wins are the champions. We don't mind giving you this one.
My goodness. It's been a while since we've seen Kid Bomba on the Lapu Lapu, but man, he reminds us why it was one of his main picks back in the day. It was literally just last year where every single time Mans was styling on everybody, but unfortunately they couldn't lock it in for a win against ONIC Philippines last year. Now they're in the grand finals and he's styling.
He is styling. He is playing very, very well. They're so in sync with each other. And I think what it really boils down to at this stage, both teams know how to play with a significant lead, whether it's small, whether it's big. It's really about taking control over the game, influencing the movements. And so far, the composure really leans in on TS for this particular game.
The follow-up from Sawo, immaculate, then Zao, the cleanup, and Sunset. Look at his arrow.
Boom! Works every single time, but we can't give all the fun here at the table. We're throwing it back over to our panel to break it down for y'all.
And we're catching it. Thank you, Gideon and Mirko. Another game, another Team Spirit win. They turn this best of 5 in their favor as they grab this one to go 2-1 up over Yangon Galacticos of Myanmar. What a journey we have had to get to this moment. For those just tuning in, seeing the action, this has been anything but easy for both of these teams. 2 regions that have not been represented in the grand finals of MLBB, and some would say most of the relevant history of this esport. But at this point, either one of them will rewrite their story and create a new chapter in the history books of this tournament here at MSC in Paris, France. And I cannot wait to break it all down. My name's Randy. I'm joined again by Brig and LaFell. We are your panel. We are your friends. They are brother and sister, they said.
You're brother.
And I'm now a brother as well. We're all brothers and sisters. We're siblings. And that was a Team Spirit victory. I don't know. What is it about Kid Bomba when he gets going, about Zaur when he gets Aurora, that is unstoppable?
Oh, I think they both individually had highlights there. I think their clips are going to go out on social media just later. The escapes we saw from Zaur, Egoist on the Hirara, and the entries from Kid Bomba. The entries, by the way, which did not cost them as much. And that's just a statement right there to show how dominant Team Spirit have already established themselves in this game. Because as much as you don't want to admit it, what our casters said earlier, it's sad that it's true. Yangon could not do
Yeah.
anything in this game.
The proof is Han only did 11,000 damage. And let's put that into perspective, right? His roamer, the glue, did 15,000, right? So that kind of shows if you're position 5,
That's a problem.
the one that's supposed to have no farm does more damage than you, which is supposed to be the one moving the map around, then yes, we can definitely see how that becomes a problem. In fact, I would say Mirko put it very nicely to say that the draft coming in from Team Spirit has amazing presence around those neutral objectives, the turtle as well as the Lord. But we don't even get to the point of the Lord being relevant. It's all about those turtle fights. We'll show the zone control they have later on.
You know, you wouldn't have thought that Nolan would do so poorly. This is a really good hero pick. I think as a 5, you're flexing it. You know you're getting something a little bit deeper in the pool, but it's worked. And we've seen it work as a selection. You said the Suyo could come out, but this was what they went with. It was a disappointment. But is it less about how good Nolan is or isn't, but more about how valuable Harara is in this matchup of junglers?
I think it's because what Nolan wanted to do is essentially the same as what Spirit has been doing. It's just that Hirara had more help in terms of being able to pull off those in and out plays rather than the Nolan could. Because I think, especially looking at the glue, you want to stay in the fights longer. You want things to get really messy just so you could land your grabs on your targets and so you could pull in the ones that you want. But Team Spirit have done a great job at just going in when they feel like trying to start a fight, but they can choose to commit or to not commit either way. So it's like they've been always playing and setting up fights on their terms, which I think their lineup greatly specializes on. But for Yangon, you want to just keep the fight going so then Han could go and find the pickoffs that he wants. But he's not really given the opportunity to do so because, again, Spirit have just engaged whenever they like and they just don't fight when they don't feel like it.
Classic opener from Team Spirit. They jump out to the lead. Yangon ties it. Spirit back out yet again, and it's a great showcase of how good they are. But LaFell, when it comes to why they're so good, what did you see in Game 3?
Well, I think your question kind of already answers a lot, which is you asked, how does Kip Bomba, like the moment he gets going, everything looks good? And how he does that is that you can plan all you want, but if you get punched in the face, you forget about all of your plans, and that's kind of what Bomba did. So first, we got to talk about the change that happened in this draft, which is Team Spirit, they have 2 things, right? Number 1, they have a lot of mobility, right? Where they can move around. And why this is so important is because the fact that they're going up against a glue, right? I ran out of space, but here's the thing. They made it so that this glue cannot really do much just because, let's count the amount of dashes they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yeah.
These 4 members have a lot of dashes in their kit, making it so that even if the glue does catch onto them, they can outplay that. And that's the second thing, is that all of these heroes, except for the Belleric really, they have ways that they can individually influence the map just by, I would say, the latent aspect that the heroes have.
Yeah.
They have a very high skill ceiling, making it so that it's kind of hard to really predict what's going to happen. But we're going to be looking at this clip here, and we're going to be looking at more of the zone control that Team Spirit really has with this draft. And again, we talk about how having that first punch is going to be very important. We will be seeing how, honestly, they try, right? YG really tried, because we're going to be zooming in. We're going to see Blink, even using the flicker, try to get on top of Hiko as well as Sunset Lover, which are positioned just right here. But the problem is, again, they have a lot of dashes, making it very difficult for the glue to really do much. So when he does go in, able to dodge out, and all the while we see Kid Bomba here trying to zone them away. Speaking of, we're going to look at all the zone control that they have. Sao is controlling this flank here. Kid Bomba is controlling this side here, as well as Sunset Lover is just here in case he controls the arrow. So how does that look like? Well, the visual control Sao has is here, Kid Bomba is here, and then Sunset is here, but it can really go out to anywhere because the arrow has a very long range. And it ended up making it so that Sour Egoist was able to secure the turtle. But then the follow-up here, a very quick turnaround, how they were all spread out, and yet they clumped up together so fast because of 2 things, mobility as well as just the potent ability of each hero to have a very high skill ceiling, making it so that they can continue to fight once everything is said and done. So this draft is honestly less about strategy and more about the coach giving the players a hero that can do so much. It's all about your own creativity. It's all about your own skill.
Yeah.
It's a draft not many teams can pull off. But the teams that can do it, it looks amazing.
It looked like also Blink got caught up trying to find Hiko.
Yeah.
And I think they understand the power of Hiko when he gets going. And I think they understand, too, how if you do kind of tunnel vision, you can lose track of the bigger picture. And so sometimes in these best of sevens, it's normal, Greg, to, okay, we focus a little bit too much on that. Now we need to pull back here. Think about it a different way. If you're YG, what's your takeaway now going into game 4? Because you can't really afford to make the same mistake. Going down 2-0, giving them a chance to, in this case would be 3-1, 2 games in a row, a chance to clinch out the next game. Last shift, it might not be a big one.
Yeah, honestly, it's tough if you base it off that game because I agree with you. There might have been some sort of tunnel vision already. There was so much attempt to really lock onto Hiko specifically, and I think that's essentially because that's what you expect from the Glue. That's the job that you really want to get from Blink because I don't think the Selena would be an easy target that he too could really dash on. So, and I guess you really would want to resort to the Harriet because it's a much more sustained source of damage when it comes to the team fights. But even if you do get to do so, the zoning, it was highlighted earlier by LaFell. I don't think the others could really catch up. So there has to be a much cleaner communication between the team, between Yangon, if they really want to set their eyes on something, and if they really feel like they're already capable of actually committing to whoever they want to go for or to that specific team fight. Because multiple times in that game, it just was a clear disconnect, I'd say.
Yeah, trying to get more connected here in this one. And when we come back, we'll have game 4. But also, in the meantime, make sure to check out MLBB and its new crossover with Street Fighter.